Well, today we're going to dig into something pretty big. It's a recent announcement that can seriously reshape how we think about wireless networks. We're talking AI and 6G. Yeah, big stuff, and we're going to break it all down for you. What it all means and what the future might look like. So starting from the ground up, what you got?
The next generation of wireless networks isn't just about speed. It's about creating an artificial brain that spans the entire globe. Nvidia just announced something that's going to fundamentally change how we connect to everything. Nvidia has assembled this incredible team of tech giants to build what they're calling AI-native wireless networks for 6G. We're talking about T-Mobile, a MITRE, Cisco, and others coming together to essentially give our networks the ability to think and learn.
But haven't we heard similar promises before with 5G? What makes this different?
You know, what's fascinating about this, unlike previous generations that just focused on faster speeds, this is about embedding artificial intelligence into the very fabric of the network. Imagine a system that can predict network congestion before it happens, automatically reroute data, and even learn from usage patterns to optimize performance.
So it's like giving the entire network its own brain. How exactly are they planning to implement something this complex?
That's where this dream team comes in. T-Mobile is working with Nvidia on the AIRAN Innovation Center. Think of it as a testing ground for these new AI capabilities. MITRE is handling the AI service prototypes, while Cisco is focusing on securing the mobile core.
The security aspect must be crucial when we're talking about AI controlling our communications infrastructure.
Exactly right. And that's why they brought in Booz Allen Hamilton specifically to handle security. They're not just adding security features as an afterthought. They're building it into the foundation of the system from day one.
Well, that's reassuring. But what kind of real-world applications are we looking at here?
Oh man, this is where it gets really exciting. Picture autonomous vehicles communicating with zero latency, not just with each other, but with traffic lights, emergency services, and even pedestrian crossings. Or imagine remote surgery where the connection is so intelligent that a doctor in Tokyo could operate on a patient in New York as if they were in the same room.
Those applications sound amazing, but surely there must be some significant hurdles to overcome.
You're right. And that's where NVIDIA's expanded aerial research portfolio comes in. They're essentially creating this massive toolkit that will allow researchers and developers worldwide to work on these challenges together. It's not just a corporate project. They're opening it up to universities and research institutions globally.
That's quite different from the usual corporate approach to innovation.
Exactly.
That makes me wonder about the timeline for all of this.
While we don't have an exact deployment date, what's fascinating is how the groundwork being laid now will influence everything from smart city development to industrial automation. We're probably looking at a 5 to 7 year timeline before widespread implementation.
And what about accessibility? Will this be limited to major urban areas?
That's actually one of the most promising aspects of this project. By involving multiple companies and opening up the research globally, they're working to ensure the technology can be implemented across different environments, from dense urban areas to rural communities.
It really does sound like we're on the verge of a major shift in how we think about connectivity.
You know what's really mind-blowing? This isn't just about faster internet or better phone calls. We're talking about creating a nervous system for the planet, a network that can think, learn, and adapt to our needs in real time. The implications for everything from healthcare to education to environmental monitoring are staggering.
That's quite a powerful vision for the future.
And here's what I think is the most important takeaway. This isn't just another incremental upgrade. We're witnessing the birth of something entirely new. It's a global network that doesn't just connect us, but understands us. The real question isn't whether this will transform our world, but how we'll adapt to these changes when they arrive. But here's something that caught me off guard. Buried in the fine print are warnings about risks and uncertainties that could change everything.
That's fascinating timing because tech partnerships like this often hide some serious complexities.
Well, let me break down what I discovered. Their announcement is packed with these ambitious, forward-looking statements about performance and capabilities. But when you analyze the language carefully, there's this intricate web of dependencies they're not highlighting. The biggest concern is their heavy reliance on third-party manufacturers. You know how the semiconductor industry already struggles with supply chain issues? Well, Nvidia is betting their future on partners handling everything from manufacturing to testing. That's like trying to conduct an orchestra where every musician is in a different state.
Oh, wow. And considering how the chip shortage affected everything from cars to gaming consoles, that seems like a pretty risky strategy.
Exactly right. Based on industry data, about 70% of semiconductor delays in the past 2 years were caused by supply chain disruptions. Now, I think Nvidia has to really try to avoid something similar happening with this project.
The complexity of that coordination must be staggering. How do they plan to maintain quality control across all these different partners?
That's where things get really interesting. You know how in software development they talk about technical debt? Well, Nvidia is creating what I'd call partnership debt. Each new manufacturing relationship adds another layer of potential complications.
Speaking of complications, can Nvidia deliver on these promises without these partnerships? How much of this technology can they actually develop on their own?
Well, not much. Here's the thing. If they're not careful, this could end up being similar to what happened with quantum computing announcements in 2019. Lots of promises, but actual deliverable technology was basically absent or years away.
That reminds me of how some tech companies announce features way before they're ready, like what happened with self-driving cars. We're still waiting for those promises from 2016 to materialize.
You're absolutely right. And the stakes here are even higher. Nvidia isn't just making products for consumers. They're creating technology that entire industries are building their futures around. It's like being the foundation of a skyscraper while still experimenting with the concrete mixture.
The pressure to deliver must be enormous. How do you think this affects their decision-making process?
Let me share something interesting about that. Industry analysts estimate that for every month of delay in chip development, companies lose approximately $20 million in potential revenue. So there's this constant tension between rushing to market and ensuring everything works perfectly.
Those numbers are staggering. How do they balance speed with reliability?
Well, based on historical data from similar tech rollouts, companies that rushed products to market faced recall rates about 3 times higher than those who took a more measured approach. But here's the catch. Waiting too long means potentially losing market share to competitors.
And that's quite a tightrope they're walking. What do you think investors and industry partners should watch for?
I've identified 3 critical warning signs. First, watch for subtle changes in their timeline language. Words like anticipated often become planned or targeted. Second, pay attention to their partner announcements. Multiple new manufacturing partnerships could indicate supply chain issues. And third, monitor their R&D spending. Unexpected increases might suggest development challenges.
Those are really practical indicators to watch. Do you think this will change how tech companies make announcements in the future?
It's interesting you ask that. Based on recent trends, we're seeing a shift in how tech companies communicate major partnerships. There's been a 40% increase in risk disclosure statements in tech announcements over the past 2 years. Companies are learning to balance hype with reality. Well, you know, for the most part.
The evolution of corporate communication in tech is fascinating to watch. What lessons should we take away from this?
The key takeaway is that we need to develop a more sophisticated way of reading these technological announcements. Think of it like weather forecasting. Even with all our advanced technology, we still can't predict with 100% accuracy. The future of tech is incredibly exciting, but it's also incredibly complex.
Those are some valuable insights to keep in mind as we watch this story unfold.
Indeed, and I believe this Nvidia partnership will become a case study in how tech companies navigate the delicate balance between ambition and reality. The next few months will be crucial in determining whether they can deliver on these promises or if they've bitten off more than they can chew.
All right, this was fun. I want to thank you guys so much for listening in, and let us know in the comments below what new possibilities you see unfolding with 6G. How would it reshape your life, your work, your community? It's pretty exciting, so let us know your thoughts. I think it's going to be big though, for sure. Thanks again for listening, guys. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.